This is a brilliant question. Bravo, Anthony. Great job here. So what I would say is like, budget is very important. So if you're really just starting and like you got, you're putting together 2 pennies to make 10 cents, then you got to do it yourself. But if you're at a stage in your business where you're making money, you have steady customers coming, I think it's super important to actually start to outsource to improve, right? Because if you're going to get your niece or your cousin or your son to do the work for you, especially in marketing or social media or video editing or whatever it may be, and they have a learning curve, and that learning curve is costing you a significant amount of money regularly. Like they don't know what music to pick. They don't know what videos to pick. They don't know what captions to pick. They don't know what trends to follow. They don't know anything. They're just going to wing it. And your business that you've spent hours, blood, sweat, and tears to try and grow is absolutely going to suffer. So you have this passion for your business. You're there from morning to night. Your husband's saying, why aren't you home? Your wife is telling you you're not home often enough. You have all this stress and you want to add another stress to it. So that doesn't make any sense. Now, of course, it's hard to give money away. I get that. Like I earned this $10. I want to keep this $10, but you give away that $10 to the right person, you now got $30. Right. And that's where you have to understand that picking the right people, working with the right people, that's going to make all the difference in the world. But giving it to your niece or your nephew, sure, you're going to spend $2 now instead of $10. Sure, I agree with you. It's way cheaper, but you're going to get 50 cents worth of work, and that's not going to help you.
You put your blood, sweat, and tears in it. The last thing you should do is say, I'm going to find someone that wouldn't shed a tear. If you put all this time and effort in, why are you looking for someone that, they just do it because it's easy instead of they've spent their life doing this, right? The slow and steady wins the race. So don't find the person that just wants to end up at the finish line quick. We take our time. We're going to make sure we do it right. We're going to give you value. The main reason why you don't want to just turn to anyone for this marketing is you need to find the gem. And the gem is not going to give you 1 or 2 videos a week. He's not going to post one day, skip, and then go on next day. It's going to be every single day. Tarek's touched on this in videos before. So you know more than anyone. Why is it important to be consistent? Daily content, not just one-off, and just spread throughout the week. Why do they need to consistently produce content that actually makes it?
So it's another really great question. Anthony's on fire today. Ladies and gentlemen, Anthony Jabbour, ladies and gentlemen, this guy's here taking out autographs today. So it's important because the social media metric is consistency. So it's very strange because if you post one video and you get 200 views, you get really excited because your video got 200 views. So if you took that advertising effort, if you will, and got 200 people to see a billboard, you would say to yourself, okay, this is amazing. I got 200 people to see it. I didn't do anything. Now you wait another week and you do that again. Now you got another 200 people to see it. So in 1 month, you posted twice, you got 400 people to see it. Now, if you're paying attention, if you did that 5 times in 1 week, you got 1,000. You do that in 2 weeks, you got 2,000, even though you're still just hitting the 200 mark. But what's happening at the same time is now you're improving your skill set. So if as a small business owner, as an example, if you're trying to do it yourself and you're making content once in a while, my advice is don't even do it because it doesn't even make sense. Just make an ad, push it out, and you're done. But if you want to be consistent organically and grow your brand, really, you do this every single day. You post these videos every single day. And and you will constantly improve because you're going to watch your video. And this is something I actually told Anthony just 2 seconds ago. I'm like, our podcasts need to be better. And that's what a good sound person that's in marketing will actually tell you. Because if you think you're the best and you can't be improved, I think you suck. Right. But if you're able to constantly be critical about yourself, constantly be critical about your own content, you can always improve and do better. And that's what people do. And people have to understand that this social media game, this is a super long-term game. This isn't a short play. This isn't, it's like, as Anthony likes the sports analogies, this isn't the bottom of the 9. This isn't the last quarter overtime. No. This is, you're down 5-1, but you have the entire season to come back. So being consistent, doing it slowly is how you do it. Absolutely. You just keep plugging away, and you will slowly improve. Everyone on social media right now that has 1 million following started way more than 6, 7, 8, 10 years ago. So if you're looking at it now, sure, your numbers are low. Yeah, okay, you got 5 followers. No problem. I get it. You think you suck. But the truth is, you just started. And people have to really understand that just starting means you just started.
So I also want to touch on, we do Google ads, and you'll have businesses that spend so much money on ads, specifically Google ads, but sometimes they do it and nothing happens. What's going wrong? Why is nothing happening? Why are they going?
Google ads is almost the icing on top of the cake. And the idea that you have your social media working, you have your video, you have your awareness, you have your brand growth, but then you do these Google ads, and these Google ads are going to show up everywhere, right? If you put them properly, they can be on YouTube. They can be on news websites. They can be on Google search itself. So they have the potential to be everywhere. But the trick is, who's measuring your ads? And what I mean by that is, if I click on an ad and I go on that website and I'm on there for 10 seconds, if I'm on there for 1 second, it's very different than if I'm on that website for 10 seconds or 1 minute. What's the measurement from? So what people have to understand is, just because you spent a bunch of money on your Google ads, if your website's garbage, it's an money pit. There's no way to save it. So always, if your ads aren't converting, your website sucks. Simple as that. Now, a lot of the time, a lot of clients are apprehensive about changing their website. So what we've done now is we create these landing pages, and these are basically pages that are just to generate the lead, just to make the sale. So you make a landing page, it's going to give all the validations, make the customer feel warm and comfy, and basically encourages them to make the sale. So that's basically what it is. So if you're not willing to make your website again, there's always another way. You could build the landing page. So you build these landing pages, and then you're able to get it. But if you're paying a lot of money for your Google ads, and a lot of people are, because Google ads constantly increases in price. So as you pay more and more money on your Google ads, and you notice that your leads are getting lesser and lesser, it's time to revisit your website. Because a lot of people think they make a website and they're done. That's it. It's good for the next 10 years. And I'll tell you, our own website is in its 4th revision right now, because we constantly look at the metrics. So we jump on our websites when we notice that the people on our time has decreased. So if people used to be on our website for 5 minutes and now we notice that they're on our website for 4 minutes, that triggers us to improve the site. So we're going to spruce up that page, create a new blog, create a new page, do something to get the traffic going again. And if not, then you really got to evaluate what's going on. Yeah. And a lot of businesses get stuck in that box where they're like, okay, I made my website 5 years ago. Why do I need to change it? And it's like, because it's not converting anymore. It's not good enough anymore, right? Everything changes. Like, how many updates were there to Instagram? How many updates are there to TikTok? How many updates are there on your phone? So everyone's constantly updating. So if you live in this bubble where you think that my website should last 10 years,
It's not 2016.
it just, unfortunately, it doesn't. So sure, we make more money because of that. Yeah, naturally, we're going to make more money. But so will you, right? And that's the thing. When you work with a good agency, and this is a good point, and that's the sign of good agency, that if they're making money, you're making money. The minute they're the ones only making money and you are just paying out of pocket, it's like Anthony. Like, if Anthony stopped doing good product and good work and good service, and I'm just paying him and he's not returning anything, you fire Anthony. You fire anybody, right? That's the normal way of business. You go to a restaurant, you pay money, you don't get food, you walk out.
Where's the way?
That's right. And that's it. So, but what happens in marketing specifically is there's this illusion that, well, maybe they are doing work for me. How can I tell? I don't know. Would my sales be less? And that's why I always try and emphasize it's so important for owners of businesses, CEOs, to really understand the numbers, right? If you work with a good group of people, they'll have numbers to show you. They'll have demographics to show you. They'll have analytics to show you. And these numbers will show what's going on. How many people are coming to my website? How many people clicked on this ad? How many people are in views? Now, again, the marketing people will never be able to sell your product. So if I go to a restaurant and the food sucks, my job was to bring them into the door, right? That's my part. Now, if you can't seal the deal, you can't get positive Google reviews, everyone thinks you suck, they're giving you 1 out of 5, there's more issues than meets the eye.
The food we're cooking out the market.
That's all right.
And that's the thing too, is you have to, okay, they didn't like this dish. Are you offering a new dish? Are you bringing new, is there something new on the menu? That's what makes you stand out. We can video it for days. We can do all this campaign, but we're showing you, we're telling your story. And if we're going to tell your story, we need something to show, right? if your competitors are always constantly offering something better, you're not willing to grow too. We want you to grow with us. We want you to make money with us. If we're just the only ones there and nothing's happening, there's something wrong. We need to figure out what that is very, very badly. We need to figure out what that is. So I think the name of the game is consistency, growth, and make sure you're doing the right thing. You're going to the right people. You can't just wing it. We've talked about that on this podcast. You can never just wing it. There's someone right for the job always. And as Tarek said, they shouldn't be there if they're not giving them. They should be there if they're not delivering. I would also just say, how can we make sure they're delivering back? How can you make sure, that this person is, you're going to see growth. You're not just starting.
So that's good. That becomes an issue of having very clear goals and targets, right? So if you're working with somebody or you're doing marketing for yourself, or you got someone to do the marketing for you, or you're like, you know what, Tarek, you're amazing, I want you to do my marketing. Sure, no problem. But it's all about the goals. What is being promised and what is not being promised? Because that's super important. Like if I'm telling you I'm going to get you 1 million views on every single Instagram post you make, but that's what we stepped up to do. Right. So that is the goal. That is what we're doing. So if we're doing posts and all you get is 1,000 views, yeah, there's a huge problem. But if the promise is, oh, we're going to make sure your restaurant's sold out every day and we have to make a reservation, well, how am I ever going to put that on paper? How are we going to quantify that? So listening to what is actually being offered to you, having a clear understanding of what is the service, what is the product, what is the goal, super duper important. Which reminds me, I was on a call today. Huge potential client, over 70 locations across Canada. I was talking to them today and they were interested in naturally everything.
Not sure how sure.
No. Huge global thing. So they were asking me so many different questions, and they told me they're working with this agency, that agency, this agency, that agency. And they're like, well, like, what's going to make you any different? What makes you stand out? And, as a boutique firm, I'm not going to lie to you, like, we don't have 100,000 employees here. We're a small group of 6. The real difference here is that I'm one of the few people that actually cares. And what I mean by that is I use my own creativity, my own thought, and say, okay, do I even like this? Most people just sell what they think is good. Whether they like it or they don't like it doesn't really matter. And even more so is the skill set that you're willing to never give up on it. So the idea here is that I was talking to a lawyer the other day, and he's working for his 2nd year now, and he is putting in more hours than some of the senior partners. And everyone's telling him to stop putting the hours in. It's like, I can't stop working until I get what I get here. I can't stop. And that's exactly the same mentality that we have at IG Strategies. Is that yesterday, I think Anthony called me at 10:30 or something like that, but I was on another call. And the idea is we are constantly working to get you happy, to get you the results you need. We don't take breaks. We don't sleep. We don't obviously sleep once in a while, but we are so goal focused that if we promise you this is your goal, I'm going to be up all night. Yeah, I'm going to be up all night to make sure that goal is met. You're never going to see, okay, well, you know what? I got that goal. I told them it's going to be Monday. I'm going to give it to them next week, Wednesday. And that is very common practice in so many different marketing firms, to be honest. That the timeline is just this arbitrary thing. The goals are arbitrary. So, and going back to the client of the story for the giant chain, they were just shocked that I actually listened to them. Like, I heard their actual concerns. I said, well, you've already done so much work already. I'm just going to try and boost it up. I don't want to reinvent it, because most agencies, they go in there and it's always like, okay, we're going to drop a bomb, destroy everything. Everything you did is bad. Start from scratch. I'm like, man, you already have millions of followers. Let's just make it a little bit better.
Why are we blowing everything up? You're blowing it out of proportion.
That's right.
Let's scrap everything. That's not what we're saying. We say grow. When we say grow, we don't mean scrap everything and start over. We're saying renovate the home you're building. You're bringing a bulldozer in.
Yeah, exactly right.
That will never work, because they're going to scrap everything you worked so hard to build. We're just trying to make sure everything you worked so hard to build tells the story you want to tell.
That's it.
We're going to show your story. We're going to make sure it looks great. We just need to make sure when we come in, we can do that. And you're part of that story. You might not think it's that big because, it's your business. It's not you, but your business is a huge part of you. Don't ever forget, you built this. This is your baby. We have to come in like we're the babysitters, and we're not going to leave the kid at home while we go do something else. That's why, like Tarek said, it will always be in the back of our head. I could be anywhere. I could be at someone's birthday party. Back of my head, okay, want my clients to be satisfied. I got to wake up tomorrow, go do this. Your time management is that. You'll do other things, but your priorities will always be, what is tomorrow going to generate? What is today going to generate, right? What am I doing today to help tomorrow? These are the things, right? So IG strategies, I think our goal will always be your development, right? Today and tomorrow. The same applies. We can't be stagnant.
So one of the slogans, and I'll end on this point here because I think it's good. Anthony walked right to it. One of our slogans, or our, raison d'etres, if you will, is to always create resonance. So a lot of marketing firms, PR agencies, a lot of things that they do is they just want to come out of nowhere, create something and leave with no care. But when you create resonance, that means that you're creating the sound, you're creating the impact, and you're waiting for it to bounce back. Like you're not just doing something in a silo. Like you're doing it, you want to make sure it actually feels it, responds to it, and is appreciated and liked. So that's the difference, is that we're not just creating things like, well, we did it, good luck, I know it sucks, but hey, that's our job. No, our job is even afterwards. Okay, it isn't good, let's make it better. Or it's great, let's make it even greater. So that's where we always are different, because we will always be there to make sure there's an actual growth, that you're actually improving versus the quick buck. Okay, here's one campaign, we're in, let's get the hell out of here. You'll never catch that. Okay. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So thank you. And so stay tuned for more very insightful content.
Yeah.
And this has been fun. We're growing. You'll see the growth with me naturally, and you've seen the 12 plus years of growth with my boss here.
So we'll see you again next week, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. And please subscribe, drop comments. And if you have concerns yourself where you're growing your business and you want some help or you have some ideas, put it in the comment sections below and we'll definitely look at it and make an episode about it as well. Good night, everybody.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, take care.